Welcome back to BYO Beats. We are on week 3 of our show with Dallas Arlo, and we are into the sad one, the In Your Feels, which we've kind of done twice in a row last week, but we're going to get one step further into
Three
it
for the
today.
price of one.
Yeah.
We love it.
I like
I'm
it.
a sad boy
I'm loving it,
enjoyer,
really.
so
Yeah. First, though,
beer.
beer.
Beer and music podcast. Your
Yes,
beer and
beer.
music podcast, you beer listeners and music drinkers. What was the correct choice for this? Coors Light?
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
yes.
Yeah, baby.
Coors Light. I have the Coors. I'm repping the Coors.
I got the Bud because the Bud was in the Mix of Six section and the Coors Light was in the Tall Boys, and it made more sense for me economically at the time to grab the one that fit into the 6.
Johnny is a bargainer. He is not a failure.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Appreciate a frugal consumer. I like it.
Yes. So, what are our thoughts on Coors in the first place, or Bud Light in Johnny's case? Because
I will say this
very
about Bud
different
Light.
feel.
It's almost never my first light choice.
but it's the
Nope,
one that like every place has.
that's
You
true.
never have to wonder.
And that's the thing about Bud Light is Bud Light is always exactly what you want it to be, which is light beer. It tastes like beer and water, and that's I think it's honestly I think Bud Light is best consumed at a Buffalo Wild Wings or a similar venue. Where you're there for crappy beer and crappy wings and a really, really big TV. That's what you're there for.
Yeah.
And you know, that's like,
Wow.
because like you can make your own wings at home that taste 10 times better, but then you gotta make them.
Right.
But like sometimes it'll be like the middle of the dog days of winter, and it's a Sunday and you don't want to cook, and there's football on, and you're like, I'm going to Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yes. Light beer in general is your go-to tailgate thing, right?
Yep,
But we're using it in a different sense right now,
right. Because
So
we're in your feels.
which is interesting. That Dallas, you go for a light beer when you're in your fields. Why do you think that is? I know it's a
It's-
loaded question. I didn't mean to ask it that.
That seemed very accusatory.
Yeah, sorry. It's not as cryptic as it sounds. Uh,
I'm playing it back what you said in my head, and it made perfect sense. So I think
Okay, good.
I think you need to whatever. If you just rewound, you got to wind it back the other way. I think that was great.
okay,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. I do. At this point, I have forgot the question though.
Oh no.
What makes you pick Coors Light as your in your feels?
Because when I'm light or Freudian slip.
When I'm
Just gonna-
white, it's sad.
It's segment 5, folks.
Yep.
when I'm heavy in my feels, I need something light.
So
And
it lifts you back up. Is the point?
before I go. Yeah.
Before you, wow. Hall of Notes.
No, it's just solid, you know. I feel like Coors just always there, you know. In a similar way that Bud Light is always there, Coors is just better than Bud Light,
I would agree.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a little less sweet to me. Is the main flavor difference.
It tastes
but,
more like beer to me.
Yeah.
If I'm going to a party, I'm either showing up with a 30 rack of Coors or a 30 rack of PBR. PBR is more of a meme, you know.
Yeah.
Coors is like it's like I mean business, but I'm light about it. You know?
Yeah, I got you.
If you order a Coors Light at B-Dubs, you're getting brownie points because it wasn't a Bud Light, and no one's looking down at you at all. They're just like, it's like when you go to a place and you order a burger medium well, you're getting the head nod. Like, yeah, that's how I'd order it too.
Gotcha. Have you guys ever had a black and tan?
What is that
think so.
again?
So it's two beers, not mixed together. It's layered on each other. So it's usually Guinness is the black, and then the tan is a light beer of choice.
I've never had that, but that sounds
No?
intriguing.
It's interesting. I don't know if it's gonna be good for everybody. I've only had one like once or twice ever. But I think it was Guinness and Coors Light, and I was happy with it. It was also at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Huh, all right.
So it all comes
Not sponsored,
together.
by the way.
No.
One day.
Maybe one day. Hey, yeah. No, I feel like at a place like Buffalo Wild, like a sports bar, if you order a craft, that's when you tend to get weird looks.
Debatably. I mean,
There's a time and place for it.
Yeah.
yeah, it depends. Like, because at B-Dubs, yes, you'd probably be like, why the hell did you get a, I can't think of a good example. Why can't
Three
I think of
Floyd's Gumball Head.
There you go. Is that a real one?
Yeah.
I didn't know they had a gumball head. That's crazy.
It's like an IPA or
three-
something.
Three Floyds. You say that to a bartender, and they're going to be like, I would say that one more time.
At like a sports bar where they're used to like there's 3 taps that everyone orders from,
Right.
and then there's 3 taps that like you use twice a night. Anyways, yeah, I mean these types of light beers, you know what you're getting every time, and consistency is key for that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'll say Coors Light is probably my favorite light beer. I think for me it goes Coors Light and then Busch Light and then Bud Light, because I think Coors Light has the best like flavor to lightness ratio, and then after that Busch Light is like water, so you can drink like 30 of them and not even feel anything, and sometimes that's what you want. And then I don't know, Bud Light has never really done it for me, and then Miller Lite is dead last. I do not like the way Miller Lite tastes.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why, I just don't.
Is it because it's a Pilsner instead of a lager? I don't know.
Maybe. I'm trying to read the label. I don't know.
I would say Coors Light is like the 6-piece chicken nugget of beers.
That is spot on.
That's so funny. Like,
And it's like, if Coors Light is the 6-piece chicken nugget, PBR is the Bosco stick.
wow. I really like this comparing light beers to snack food.
And that makes Coors Banquet
a burger.
the quarter pounder.
The quarter pounder, yes. And then that makes Budweiser your
Bud Heavy.
Bud
Heavy. I like that.
Yeah, your Bud Heavy would have to be the Big Mac, I think.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, so that makes your Bud Light the fries.
I like
I don't
this.
know.
I don't know.
Not the fries?
Not the
I feel like
fries.
it's got to be something better than Bud Light to be the fries.
Gotta have
Anyway.
some protein.
The grilled chicken sandwich.
Grilled chicken sandwich?
Yes, because the only good grilled chicken sandwich I've ever had from fast food place is Chick-fil-A. Any other grilled chicken I've had has just never come out right. Well, I mean, it's hard to do grilled chicken correctly, let's be honest, but we are way off topic. Let's reel it in. Let's reel it in. In your feels, let's listen to some music. We got another good selection. We are going to take a quick break to listen to it. This is from Gordon Lightfoot, and it is the song I'm Not Supposed to Care. So we're going to take a quick break and listen to that and be right back. All right, so we just listened to I'm Not Supposed to Care by Gordon Lightfoot. So Dallas, what makes this your in your feels?
Gordon Lightfoot just gets me in my feels in general. Of the music I listened to growing up, it was like if we're going back to like the '93 Dodge van that my dad had for a long time. I swear that thing steered. It had no shocks. It would just bounce up and down. The AC was broke, so even in the summer, like I can still when I play this song, when I play Gordon Lightfoot, when I play Johnny Cash, John Denver, even Green Day, I can feel like the warmth of the engine block because the engine was like inside the van. It had stuff over it, obviously, like the cup holder or whatever. But I can feel the warmth of that of the engine block on like a cold winter evening when we were like driving up to Boyne or something like that for like a snowboarding weekend. So that came my love of cassette tapes. That's why I have a cassette tape tattoo here. That's the significance there. This song specifically, I listened to on repeat. I had a CD player because this was before iPods. It was like a skip proof, like you could walk with it and it would not skip the CD. I would put this song on repeat, and I would just listen to this, and I would just kind of like almost cry myself to sleep on purpose. I wouldn't say I was a depressed kid, and we're talking like just really young, like elementary school age, and just listen to this song and just I pictured just being in love with the girl down the street that was in my neighborhood, and just kind of feeling the unrequited, we were best friends, but like just the unrequited love of that, and just kind of so I would just listen to this song because it's all about like this song is unrequited love. It's like I'm not supposed to care, but I do, you know. You don't feel the same way as I feel about you, but that's not stopping me from caring. And I will always be there, even though you are going off and moving on with your life, and you know you have your own stuff you have going on. But I will always be there when you need somebody. I think very early on there were a lot of complex emotions just swimming around in my head. I don't even know why. Just as like in like elementary school. I don't know what reason, but I just remember listening to this song on repeat over and over, just obsessed with it.
I mean, it's a good song.
Yeah.
I don't know if we would call this folk or Americana, but
he is Canadian, or was Canadian.
So not Americana.
North Americana.
Gordon Lightfoot is like just a Canadian national treasure. I studied what I mentioned in a previous segment that I studied with Pete Sullivan. I texted him when he died. I was like, man, I'm so sorry. You know, Gordon Lightfoot died a couple years, I think last year actually, maybe 2 years ago. And there was one I had asked him, I think in a lesson, if he knew about Gordon Lightfoot, Pete being Canadian. He was like, of course I do. He's a national treasure. For me, he just kind of embodies what it's like to be a northerner. The summers in Michigan, falls in Michigan, winters in Michigan. His music, whether it's about building a railroad across the continental U.S. or whatever, if it's this song, it just kind of embodies what life is like for me, kind of throughout my life as a northerner.
Yeah, and I think his most notorious work would probably be the song about the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. And I know that's kind of made its rounds on, maybe it's just my meme pages that I'm getting fed, but I don't know if it's just like the Great Lakes region in general kind of has a great appreciation for him and his music. But yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head with the nailing the culture of being, I don't know, I guess Midwest.
Yeah, I think it was. I was seeking out. I think when he had died, I was just seeking out what other famous folk artists had said about him, and I think it was Bob Dylan. It was either Bob Dylan or Johnny Cash. They said that when Gordon Lightfoot starts singing, you never want him to stop, and that's been my experience with Gordon. It's just like listening to song after song after song after song, because like once you get going, you're just like, oh man, I just want to be, you know, wrapped in the warmth of his voice. He's somebody that I've listened to interviews that he's done. Very seldomly did he ever do an interview with like a journalist or music person. He obsessed over every single detail of the song. He's very melodic. His words are poetry, and it's just pure gold. It's just pure gold.
Johnny, you mentioned Tom Waits in our last week's episode, talking about the guilty pleasure. I think that applies here a little bit more. Just the vibe.
Yeah, I think in sound it's a little more similar, but Tom Waits does have that kind of rough around the edges tone.
Sure.
That is just not present here. I mean, here
not.
we're talking about silk.
Yeah. The singing style is, of course, different, but honestly, you probably won't find a singer other than like Louis Armstrong that would sing like
that sings like Tom Waits. Yeah,
the quality of voice is
top
very
notch.
significant. Yeah.
Can I say one more note?
Yeah, go ahead.
Please.
So I used to live more out toward the country. That was the first house we lived in for a couple of years when we moved back from Pittsburgh to Michigan. My neighbor across the street was a wood sculptor, our age, young guy. Don't meet a lot of wood sculptors. So there was one day, actually my wife, then girlfriend at the time, she was worried about me because I said I was just going to go outside and like grab something from the car. And then she came outside and saw my car door open and I was nowhere to be found because I had gotten into a conversation with my neighbor about music. And I could see he had built a little studio, a woodworking studio. He had a guitar there. We just got talking about music and life. And he asked me what my favorite artist was. And I said Gordon Lightfoot because that's who it is. And he's like, dude, there's no way you just said that. He's like, if somebody asks me what my favorite artist is, it's Gordon Lightfoot. I'm like, you're kidding. So then we just went back and forth about like why, and I was like, I told the same thing. I'm like, yeah, like when I hear that sound, I can feel the warmth of the engine block of that 93 Dodge conversion van. He goes, dude, I hear Gordon Lightfoot and I can just smell my father's like cigar smoke and I can feel the leather of his truck in my hand. And I'm like, I just had the chills. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, this is just this visceral emotional experience that, him and my old neighbor used to have with tying it to our dads and shit like that. It's just crazy,
I think it might be abundantly obvious at this point, but just for sake of clarification, a lot of times in your feels, we like to say like, okay, are you a type of person when you're in your feels, you turn to something that's either going to be uplifting or something that's going to bring you down and help you wallow, or I think we found the third option, which is that's something that's just comforting and familiar. So would you say that this fills that role?
It's both. It's comforting and familiar, but I also just when I'm I don't know if it's it's definitely when I'm in my feels. This song puts me in my feels. It's just when I'm kind of like low energy, just like needing something to just like, I don't know. I'm someone that just finds comfort in sad songs. I don't know what it is. Like I said, when I was a kid, I was listening to falling asleep and just feeling peak sadness, and then I would just drift off. It's like, I don't know. It's like the most emo thing I've ever heard. It was before emo existed. It's like I don't know what that is, but I would say I was just a quiet, peaceful, happy kid that just loved sad music, and still do.
I got nothing else. Dawson,
Yeah, very similar to the guilty pleasure segment. We just like eventually are like, yeah, we're all pretty sad guys, and we don't hate it. We don't hate it either.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something to be said though about like having a really like good, fulfilling, happy life, but just there's something about that sad music that's just comforting.
It's grounding.
Yeah. Grounding. That's a perfect word for it. Let's get to ratings then.
Yeah.
Sure.
My Bud Light it's okay. I wish it was a Coors Light because I think Coors Light is better, but it's 2.75.
Ooh.
It's a light beer.
Yeah. I mean, I put PBR at 3.25, I think. So I want to go. I'll go in the middle somewhere. So like 3.65 for Coors.
Pulling a special case for Coors. I like it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to stay. There's a duality in my head because you guys, you're craft beer guys. I'm more of a light beer guy. So this is if I'm going to go to the store, buy beer and have it not be that serious, I'm going to get this one. So in that case, it's a 5 out of 5 for me. But if we're talking flavor, if I put Sheboygan at number 5 top, this has to be lower than that. So I'm gonna say solid 4. Solid 4. Yeah.
Awesome. I mean, what else can you ask for with a Coors Light? 4.
Yeah.
Yes.
And with that, we're going to rinse out our glasses, pour our last drinks, and be back at you for the 6th and final segment. Welcome back to BYO Beats Podcast, your beer and music podcast. We are into segment 6, the Ole Reliable, with our guest, Dallas Arlo. Thank you for joining us this month. Hopefully we've helped make your December a fantastic season. We are to the beer, which none of us actually have.
No.
It's
the first, I think. Had it represented even once.
Yeah, because usually at least one person will have it. But in this case, the selection was Yuengling, which is notoriously hard to get outside the state of Pennsylvania. You can usually have a pretty okay time finding it. I could find it in Chicago, but
Texas was not bad when I was there last summer.
It's select locations. It was not in my mix of 6 in Fort Collins, so I subbed with the Fat Tire, which was very readily available in Fort Collins, believe it or not. New Belgium, based in, you guessed it, Fort Collins. This is actually cool. They did a collab with Vans, the shoe, on this can.
I was wondering what the checkerboard thing was for.
Yeah, that's pretty sick. So that's pretty cool.
Oh my god, he's wearing them.
Whoa!
Hell yeah.
He's wearing.
Yeah.
He is a skater boy.
Oh, okay.
He said, "See you later, boy."
Yeah, I wear Vans, but I can't skate, so I'm a poser. But
I mean, me neither. I mean, I can physically still do it. I had a friend recently, and the brass band that I play in, she was like, "You skate, right?" I'm like, "No." But in that moment, I was like, "Yes, it's working. People think I'm a skater."
yeah, if you can ollie, you've earned your Vans.
Sure. I can ollie standing still.
Better than nothing. All right, so Yuengling subs. What else do we have? Doss.
I feel like people are gonna be mad at me, but honestly, once I pour it, it looks like a Yuengling, doesn't it?
Almost, yeah.
This is Modelo Negra.
It's Modelo time, fool.
Yes, the fool. Oh my god. Cerveceria. That's the word. Modelo Mexico. I've never had a Modelo Negro before. I thought that Yuengling was just a darker kind of lager. So I figured the darker version of Modelo would work. We're going to find out.
Yeah.
And my drink of choice is a Sam Adams Boston Lager, which is the first legal beer I've ever had. It was over international waters, so it counts.
Awesome. Yeah. So, what makes the Yuengling your Ole Reliable? And I mean, you already talked about Sam Adams, so
I just feel like this one goes without saying. You know,
sort of, yeah.
It just is. You know, it's just. I mean, obviously, I went to school in Pittsburgh for 2 years, and it was. I don't think I drank. If I drank 3 beers throughout my entire time in Pittsburgh, it was Yuengling, and then maybe a Miller Lite, and then maybe Labatt once. It was just like nonstop Yuengling.
No Iron City?
yeah, I was gonna say no IC
maybe.
there.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe.
I mean,
okay.
maybe. I would say I'm not. I don't know. I find something that I like, and I just keep buying it. You know.
That's fair. Yeah.
A man of habit.
We've established 6 times over now. You're not a big craft beer guy, so I won't go into like the Cinderlands or the 4 Points or the what's the last one, Dancing Gnome and stuff. But they're out there. The Pittsburgh's craft beer scene is prominent, and we'll get to that city eventually. We've been trying for
We have been trying.
And we'll get you guys a real review of Yuengling at that point. But for now, we have Sam Adams, Modelo, and Fat Tire. So,
Cheers, boys.
cheers.
Beer
So segment
is
6.
beer. I love Fat Tire, but you know what I love more than I love Fat Tire? The song selection for this segment.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Good segue.
yeah, I'm good at that sometimes. I know we're gonna have a lot to talk about for this last one, so I'm just itching to go. We're gonna listen to it real quick and come right back. For your homework, you guys get to listen to "She" by Green Day. So we're gonna listen. Be right back. So, "She" by Green Day. Dallas, take it away. What makes this your Ole Reliable?
If I'm like on my way home from work and I'm driving 80 miles an hour, 85 miles an hour on the freeway, I'm jamming out to this song. Or it's because it's because I'm jamming out to this song.
Allegedly.
It's just I think it's the feminist in me. It's a song called "She." It's about she, and I just feel it's high energy. It's just this explosion of self-realization. It's this I imagine this girl, probably young girl, who is just feeling the weight of like parental pressure, societal pressure to be one thing, and just finding herself, finding themselves, and just going like, fuck that. And it's just, they're going to do something else. And it's that moment where it's like the Big Bang, how all the matter in the entire world is right here, and then it just explodes, and then it becomes something massive and beautiful. That's this song, you know? And it's, even without all of that, it's how I feel about the song, when you get into the words, it's just a kick-ass song. It really is.
I love this song. It's my favorite song off of Dookie. I think it's Green Day's most underrated song in that it doesn't get the appreciation that it deserves. It's simple yet poignant in that it makes all of those statements that you just said without being overly redundant or verbose. You know, it's super simple. And for those of you listeners who are going in order and you've already heard our American Idiot album review, you will know of the fun tidbit that the songs "She," "Extraordinary Girl," and "Amanda" from Dose are all based on the same girl. Very fun fact.
I didn't know that.
Now you do.
It's not about what's her name?
Well, it's about what's her name before she was what's her name.
Ah, okay. So
Yeah, now you're straight. Now you're straight.
Could you indulge me in some of the lore behind what you just said?
Yeah, so basically the idea is that Billy Joe Armstrong had this girlfriend growing up who he came to write a few songs about, them being "She," "Extraordinary Girl," and "Amanda." I don't know how, because I know like some Green Day fans kind of shun the Uno, Dos, and Tre. So where do you stand on those?
I stopped listening after American Idiot.
Mm.
I loved American Idiot. Like I had friends come up to me, and my dad is an original Detroit punk rocker, and Green Day was one of the 4 cassettes we had. Well, there was more than that, but Violent Femmes as well. It was one of the few cassette tapes we had. Dookie on cassette is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And that was on rotation in the '93 Dodge conversion van. Geez, I'm losing track of what I was saying. Line.
So basically, you're more of the OG Green Day that was more punk than pop punk.
Yeah. but I loved American Idiot. I think that they
How can you not?
I think American Idiot truly, I think it rides that line of both pop, punk, and punk. I think there's songs on there, and I've talked to people that are Green Day fans through and through, and because there is this pervasive notion of Green Day is that they changed and how they're not punk anymore or whatever. But I've had real big fans of Green Day in my life say like, no, listen to the words, they're still the same. It just sounds different.
Mm-hmm.
So I would also, we could talk about this offline if you want. But I would love to get some recommendations from you for more modern of what songs I should listen to from Green Day's records post American Idiot.
Got it. Yeah. Well, we can talk offline, but for any listeners who are interested, I'd say start with Revolution Radio, then go 21st Century Breakdown, and then from there probably Saviors, which is their most recent, and then from there Tre, Uno, Dos. And I think that covers all of the things. Except there's one album that you should never ever listen to, and that's Father of All. Don't listen to it. It's garbage.
Okay.
I think there's actually a fan theory that they produced that record solely to get out of their contract. Because they had a contract with a record label and they had to produce X number of records and they were done, but they couldn't get out of the contract, so they made the shittiest record of all time.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's fantastic. I mean,
that would be very punk rock and very Green Day.
I mean, just about to say that.
Push comes to shove. That's the most punk rock thing I've heard this century. Yeah. That's awesome. Maybe more punk rock, if not more punk rock than Taylor Swift producing all of her old music again and releasing it.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah, but we almost did an album review of it, but then it was just like, we don't need to do that. People already know this music.
Yeah,
have for a long time.
And it was all we also came to the realization that it was like, this album wasn't really meant for us, so it would be really weird for us to like try and tell the people that it's for them. And it was like, we like talked about it and we're like, yeah, no, it's not. It wouldn't be a good application for us.
That's to say, just like you said earlier, Taylor Swift is an acquired taste for us.
Yes.
So
as in, we are not the target audience.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
Anyways, Green Day. This song, yeah, I love it for so many reasons. Like you said, it talks about finding yourself and self-determination and being more than what anyone else wants you to be. And I think once I finally discovered that that's what this was about and how I could apply that in my own life, it made the song that much more important to me. I mean, and there's also just the bass line is sick, the riffs are sick, it's a simple melody, and everything about it is so quintessentially Green Day that it's just it's perfection in my opinion. Doss, I want to hear your opinion about it as someone who's kind of newer to this genre of music.
Yeah, so when I think about Green Day, unfortunately for what most people would say as Green Day fans, the first song that comes to mind is Do You Know Your Enemy? Or Know Your Enemy, whatever.
Know Your Enemy off of 21st Century Breakdown, yeah.
Yeah, which I think is one of their, I don't know, top 10 most known songs in terms of popular culture. Not necessarily one of their best songs, not their most listened to, but whatever.
I would agree in that probably most people know of that song.
Yeah. Do their fans love that song? Probably not. Because it is a very poppy song.
It's very poppy, yeah. It's pop rock, yeah.
But in my mind, that is the sound of Green Day. When I hear Dookie, any song, I'm just like, this sounds so not like that.
That's fair. Yeah.
And so now you're starting to understand why the fans who are fans of like OG Green Day are like, they changed, man.
Well, of course they did. Well, and I mean, how can you not change with the times? But it's interesting that they're hitting more of a relevant note in this song than they even came close to in Know Your Enemy.
To that, sorry, if you have more, go ahead.
No, please go ahead, please.
To that point, I think artists like Taylor Swift have an advantage because she started out in a different genre 20 years ago. Now that
Right.
how old is she? 16, 17 years old when she started out in country. She started out in country, did a couple albums in country, and then transferred over to pop. I think that she has more runway because of that. And I mean, to get more technical, she's working with producers. You know, she can work with whatever producer she wants and come up with something that sounds completely different than the last album. Versus Green Day, they have been punk since the beginning. And how many times can you do that without having to evolve in some way? So, I've seen it happens with any band that, I mean, I don't know if you guys know the band No Effects. They're probably one of the only bands that comes to mind. They're like a skate punk band from the 90s. They like defined 90s punk. A band like, and they have somehow, they just keep making music that sounds the same, but it's really good. But to that, it's evolving, and then your audience, you might lose some of your audience along the way because you just want to make something that's different, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would also say the instrumentals of the 21st Century Breakdown songs that I do know and the songs from Dookie are just also drastically similar.
Oh, yeah.
Dookie is much more drum heavy. Everything's kind of just driving to the end of it.
Yeah. If you look at... Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good.
But
21st Century just doesn't do that in the same way.
Yeah, Dookie is quintessentially, it's power punk. You know, it's you've got drums, bass, guitar. That's it.
Yeah.
You know, but then you get to something like 21st Century Breakdown, where now you're adding piano in, now you're adding some horns in, you're adding extra guitars. You know, it's a much higher production. So the sound is going to change. And you also look at the conditions in which it was produced. You know, I mean, I believe 21st Century Breakdown came out in 2009. Quick fact check. 2009, boom. That's very different from 1994. And you also look at a band that's been making music consistently from, 1990 all the way through. You know, even today. I mean, they just came out with an album 2023, I believe, technically. I believe it came out right before Saviors came out. Oh, no. Right after the New Year. So, 2024. But there's going to be change. There's going to be. It's inevitable. But, you could say the same thing about, this is part of the reason why Blink-182 broke up, right? You look at what they did with their, I guess technically untitled album. Everyone knows, like, what's the song? I think it's technically called "I Miss You." Where are you? And I'm so sorry.
Oh, yeah.
But, anyways, I lost my train of thought.
Well,
Artists
you made me
evolve.
think of something just that I feel like belongs in the show, but it hasn't been able to be brought up yet. Did you guys see the video of the college professor that screams pop punk lyrics at his students that fall asleep during class?
I saw that.
That made me laugh. I loved that.
That's one of the best things I think I've ever seen in a college classroom.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Any more thoughts? Anyone on Green Day at large, Dookie, She?
I think the beauty of a song like the beauty of a song like She, and the simplicity of the music, it just, for me, it inspired me to play guitar. It inspired me to play bass. I bought a bass last year. I can go show you if you want. It's right there.
Sure, go ahead. Yeah.
I'll stay connected.
Gonna see the basses. Oh, Johnny's pulling his too.
Hell yeah. Yeah. So I bought this. And This is a Squire Classic Vibes 60s style P bass. I obsessed over the sound because I just wanted Mike Dirnt's sound,
Yeah.
and that's what this does. You know.
Oh, the acoustic. Is that the one? Did we give you that one, Doss?
Yes.
The one that's like partially broken.
Yeah, it's broken.
Sounds good. I have always been inspired. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's not very good.
I have always been inspired by Green Day's guitars, by their bass, to just write music. And actually, on my Twitch channel, I've covered a couple of Green Day songs, and it's like, and I try to do like, you know, I'm not as good a bass player as Mike Dirnt is, but I try to put in some of the stuff. I like to call it like 95% covers. You know, I've done a couple Green Day songs, and they're so fun.
Yeah, the whole reason I actually picked up bass to begin with is me and my brother and his buddy Michael Acasio. We actually had him on the show. Loco, go check that out from season 1. I picked up bass because we wanted to jam and play Green Day together. Like
Hell
that was
yeah.
So it's super fun. It's super inspiring, like you said, because it's so simple, because it's so accessible, because it's so relatable. And yeah, Mike is such a talented bass player. Very underrated, I think. Anything else? Let's get to ratings and wrap it up.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's been a long night.
It has. I'm sleeping.
Yeah. All right. So ratings for our Yuengling subs. For my Fat Tire, I gotta go with 4.5. I mean, Fat Tire's quickly becoming something that I can frequently go to. 4.5. It's so good.
I'm not too happy with this Modelo Negro. But maybe it's that it's the last one or something. But like, I'm not even gonna finish my glass, I don't think. And I feel bad saying this. I do like Modelo Especial. I really do. This is, I think, it feels like it's trying to be heavy, and they really didn't have the ingredients for it or something. I don't know. Like, I'm sure it tastes how it's supposed to taste, but it's not for me. I'm doing a 2.5.
That might be the lowest DOS rating ever.
I think so.
My next.
Yes.
Man, I feel like there's a spice in the Sam Adams that's not in the Yuengling.
I would
know what
agree.
it is.
More than likely, yeah.
Sam Adams has like a little bit of spice to it. It definitely does.
There's something in it. I would rate Yuengling 5 out of 5. I put it up there with the Sheboygan, which is my other favorite beer. I mean, if we did this one first, I may put it lower. Maybe it's just because I'm a hashtag nice guy, but I feel like it's hovering around a 4 for me. I just
Johnny,
can't.
we gotta remember to put that in the posts for December. Hashtag nice guy.
Hashtag nice guy.
I don't know.
Man.
It's just maybe it's because it's the 6th beer, and I'm just like, you know,
Yeah.
loosened up a little bit.
Oh,
But
yeah.
it's solid. This is going to be the only actual beer I'm going to finish tonight, probably.
Oh,
I've been
actually, you know what?
conservative with all the other ones.
I'm in the same boat. I probably did 8-ounce pours out of 12 for the other ones, but I'm drinking my entire Fat Tire.
I think I finished the Sheboygan.
That was a tall boy too, wasn't it? A whole
16.
pint. Yeah.
60, yeah, full pint. Everything else is probably about half full.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it from us for this episode and this series of episodes. We kind of alluded to it in the first episode. We didn't last week. In terms of social media, we are on all of the things.
No, we're not. We're on 2 of the things.
All right. Well, let's be honest. We're active on Instagram at BYOBeats_podcast. That's where we post most consistently. We are working on being more active on TikTok.
Yeah.
Same at. We're on Facebook as well. I think most of the things we post to Instagram also go there.
Yeah.
Thanks to the Zuck. We're on YouTube. On the email, the best way to contact us, if you have any reason to contact us, would be either Instagram DM or email. We check both of those frequently. So if you have a beer you'd like us to try, artist to interview, album to review, anything like that, or you just want to say hi, send us an email at byobeats.business@gmail.com. We check that all the time. So send us an email if you got anything you want to talk about. Where can the good people find you, Dallas?
You can find me on Instagram. It's Dallas Arlo Music on Instagram. Pretty much everywhere. Dallas Arlo Music on TikTok. The main one where you can find me usually 3 days a week. I stream music depending on what I have going on. Composition, production, covers. I'll do live covers of like punk rock music and shit like that. I just do like acoustic soft boy covers of stuff. We get into our feels on Twitch, so it's Dallas Arlo Music on Twitch. So that'd be it's Dallas Arlo Music's. No, twitch.tv/Dallas Arlo Music. There we go. Stuttering aside, that's where you can find me. And I'm on Spotify as Dallas Arlo. I haven't uploaded any new music in a while, but there's some stuff on there. Yeah. And if you're listening to this podcast on Spotify, YouTube, or wherever else, smash that follow button. Smash that subscribe button. These guys are wonderful. They're doing great work out here in these streets.
In these streets.
These streets.
All in the streets. That is going to be it for us here at BYO Beats. That includes Tigger the cat there. Thank you all for listening. Dallas, thank you so much for being on the show. I hope you had fun.
It was so much fun.
I'm glad.
I haven't drank this much in a very long time. It's been really fun.
Hey, you're gonna sleep like a rock, aren't you?
Yeah.
Make sure you drink some water too,
please.
I've got honorable mention for my Detroit Zoo cup that I got as a souvenir. This thing is just the optimal method for hydration. You just tip this thing back and it's like gone. So
nice.
Shout out Detroit Zoo. Top 10 zoos in the nation, to be honest.
I would agree.
They just got a new penguin exhibit. It's pretty good.
It's good before it too. Wow. All right. Thank you for listening to BYO Beats. We'll see you next year.
All right, you nerd.
What do you mean? What? It's the end of December. We'll talk to you next year. Well, no, we won't, because you'll have 60 minutes with the boys of December, episode 4, coming at the end of the month, and then we'll see you next year. But either way, we'll see you next time. I'm your boss with the sauce, Nathan Dawes, signing off for Johnny Speaks, Dallas Arlo, and Tigger the cat. And remember, musicians are people too, especially with more beer.